Hello everyone and welcome to today's topic, Supplier Management. My name is Glen Clarke, aka the ISO Guy, and in today's video we're going to cover a topic that is a massive challenge for a lot of organizations and in turn, their customers. Too many organizations resort to blaming suppliers for their failure to meet their objectives, as if that somehow changes the outcome of failing to deliver the product or service as promised. Supplier management is by no means a simple task, and specifically smaller organizations can struggle with it as they lack the buying power in order to move the needle with the companies that they purchase from. That being said, we need to stop treating suppliers as the wild card that we cannot do anything about and start treating them like any internal function where we measure their performance, strive for improvement, and make changes when necessary. The first thing I recommend you do is map out your suppliers. There are a number of metrics that we should be looking to capture. Things like, what products or services do they supply you with? What has their performance been to date, both from a quality perspective and an on-time delivery standpoint? We also want to track metrics like where are they located and how easily could they be replaced by another supplier. If we are also looking at this from an information security perspective, we will want to know what information you are giving them access to and how far that information flows down once they have access to it. Now that we have collected some information about our supply chain, it is time to analyze it. We need to segment the data in order to determine how many different suppliers we have for the different products and services we procure. The first question we need to ask ourselves is it too many? Could we consolidate under fewer suppliers, buying more from our more reliable suppliers, and lowering the amount of management we need to do on our supply chain? The flip side of this is it too few suppliers? Are we too reliant on a handful of suppliers to where any change in performance or circumstances could put us in real jeopardy? In analyzing where our suppliers are located, we can cover two important topics. First off, could we potentially find more local suppliers, reducing risks for things like transportation delays or changes to trade regulations? Secondly, we need to evaluate if we have too high of an exposure to any particular geography, where a local disruption could put a large portion of our supply chain at risk. The recent proliferation in the use of tariffs is a great example of how quickly our supply chains could be turned on their heads on a moment's notice. Now that we have done our analysis of our suppliers, we need to come up with a system of ranking and prioritizing the actions we will want to take. Many organizations have upwards of 1,000 suppliers, so trying to take individual actions with all of them at the same time falls somewhere between daunting and impossible. There are lots of good tools out there for managing this type of information to give you the visibility you need to be able to take appropriate action. Depending on the size of your organization and the complexity of your supply chain, you will need to find a solution that is appropriate for you. With our suppliers ranked by both total risk and specific types of risk, we can now act intelligently. The first consideration you need to take before approaching a supplier is the level of influence that you have over that supplier. Do you buy enough from them to where they will work with you to address your concerns? If the answer is no, you really need to determine if the current and expected levels of performance can work for you. But if the answer is yes, some options are available for you. You could conduct a due diligence questionnaire. This is where you will ask the supplier a number of questions to help you get an understanding if they will be able to meet your requirements. These can be especially important for qualifying new suppliers that you know very little about. You may want to set a risk threshold that anyone that is above a specific level of risk needs to complete a questionnaire like this. You could impose requirements such as certification to a particular certification scheme, like ISO 9001 or ISO 27001. And for our really high-risk, critical suppliers, sometimes the best way to know if we can trust them is to go out there and audit them ourselves. If you do not currently have a system for managing the risk of your suppliers, or if after watching this video you feel you could benefit from an outside set of eyes taking a look at the way you structure your supplier management program, please reach out to the team at Seratos, as there is a lot more to a supplier management program that just cannot be crammed into a 5-minute video. I strive to bring you entertaining and educational material in a very concise format. If you like this video, make sure to give it a like. If you didn't like it, make sure to share it with someone else, as I'm sure they will like it. Please comment below what you have learned from the video, and let me know if there are any other topics you would like to see covered in a future video. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe, and if you hate being the last to know, make sure to turn on notifications. Thank you, and goodbye.